kind of windy outside. It's also really chilly. Hello, hello. I have been having a hell of a period, so my face is very broken out and I look like death. I have not had the motivation to make something for this gardening channel because my sleep schedule is really messed up right now. So I am sleeping until like 1 in the afternoon right now and doing my work in like the middle of the night, which is not great for filming. It's already like 4:30 and I am just now getting going for the day. So because my sleep schedule is all messed up, one of the things that I have been doing recently is doing all of my random garden stuff later in the afternoon, but that light burned out, so I need to change it. But I have no idea how because it's a weird outside patio light. But we're gonna do that, and then I wanna show you some of the random little garden stuff because it's supposed to get down to the 30s, low 30s for like the next 2 days. So I don't know how well the outside stuff is gonna do. I don't know, we'll see. But first, I need to fix that light. Apparently it's not even a light bulb, it's like an LED thing, so I might have to get a replacement unless taking off that front part was enough to like knock it into place so it's working. It still kind of looks like it's flickering, so I don't know, we'll see. There was a bunch of water in it, so maybe that's what was causing all the problems. I might just leave that fixture off because it's collecting water, and I think that might be one of the reasons that it stopped working. If I take it off, it's not going to diffuse the light as well, but at least maybe it will work. Let's go outside before the light is gone. A lot of the radishes are coming up, the beets look okay. Some of the spinach is finally starting to get secondary leaves. I'm not too worried about those root vegetables. Hopefully they will be okay in the frost. I'm not sure about the peas. So this bunny plant hanger thing has been in the yard since we moved in, and I was able to use it to hang some trellis netting so that the peas will hopefully have something to climb up. But if the frost kills them, I don't know. The cauliflower, I think, needs to come in. Because those things are mobile, I would rather just bring them in here and not risk them dying in the frost. I decided to start some mint because I really like mint. I've never grown mint, but I've always wanted to. I really like mint. It's really good in tea. I like how it smells. I could honestly just eat it as is. And then I also painted some containers so I can use as little like indoor pots. This one's an old yogurt cup that I painted, and then in here I have some California poppies. I decided to restart just 3 because the other poppies are kind of wilting, so I figure if I just have a couple, there's probably better chance that they will survive. And then this is where I temporarily have all the seedlings. I put the bug zapper next to them because this is UV light, so hopefully that will be good for the plants until it starts warming back up again. So these are the loofah gourds. I moved them all into their own cups. These are the poppies. I don't know what's going to happen to them. For now, I'm just watering them and trying to keep them generally alive. This is the one Flemish antique poppy that I have going. You can see it's gotten a little bit bigger, and there's also one more coming up over here. I don't know how this is gonna do. The pepper plant that I got from Joe's mom is doing really well. I also started an emerald okra, just because I figure I want to do a little bit of succession sowing, so that's gonna probably be my oldest one if I can get it to go. This is the poppy progress. Again, I don't know if they're gonna live. All 5 of these are bell pepper plants. I've never successfully grown peppers, so hopefully these will work. This one has started coming up. This one has started coming up. I don't know about these 3. Peppers take a really long time. I'm hopeful, and I'm just being patient and trying to watch them very closely. The sage that I put outside, I think it's just too cold, so it hasn't been germinating, so I decided to just germinate some in a little pot that I can transfer out into that container. And then this is a new bushel gourd, because the first bushel gourd and birdhouse gourds that I started, they just died. I ended up pulling up the seeds, none of them germinated. Usually when I'm trying to germinate gourds, I will sand the edges and soak them, and that helps a lot. I did not do that with the other ones, I just soaked them and I didn't sand them. So I'm hopeful that maybe this one will germinate because I actually sanded the edges. So this one's just basil that I haven't labeled. I might make this an indoor plant. So these 4 are the vine peaches and these are the apple melons. 2 of the apple melons died because I think it got too cold. I'm realizing that melons are very sensitive to cold, and so they really need to be kept warm and have a lot of light, which I'm having trouble giving them. It wasn't even that cold, it was like maybe the low 40s, but for some reason that was just enough to kill 2 of the apple melons. I also think that one of the vine peaches, this one, might also die, but I'm not entirely sure yet. So for now, I'm just leaving it in place and we're gonna see how it does. So I don't know how well these are gonna do. I might end up restarting them when it's closer to the season. I bought a couple bags of perlite because they were 75% off, so each of these were only $5. So because I'm using a mixture of topsoil and compost for seed starting, I think the soil might be a little bit too compact for some of these seedlings. Like the loofahs are doing fine, but the melons are having a time. So I think if I just mix in some perlite, that might make a better seed starting mix. Also, it's not like the perlite's going to expire. This is the green onion progress. It's coming along. I put some cinnamon in this because there were some like little bugs, but I don't think the bugs are actually bad. I also started some dark green zucchini. So I have been told that you're not supposed to actually start zucchini in containers, that you should direct sow it because it does better. But this is just for me because I want to have a couple zucchini plants going while I wait for the ones outdoors to establish, because it's really early in the season, so I can't do anything outside really. These are the 2 orange watermelon seeds that came up. They're looking pretty good. I'm hoping that they will work. I'm just very protective over them and doing everything that I can to make sure that they don't die. And then these ones are the Haugen melons. They are also doing relatively well. Hopefully, again, I can keep them alive, at least a couple. I finally brought the yellow pear tomato and the mouse melons inside because they just weren't germinating outside, and as soon as I did, one of the yellow pear tomatoes came up, but the other ones just kind of dissolved. So I might have to plant more of those. I'm debating also transplanting this. And then I don't know what to do. Someone explain cucumbers to me, because these are mouse melon cucumbers. So they're like really, really tiny cucumbers. If anyone knows how cucumbers, please explain them to me because I am having issues. So the one that I had in this corner just completely wilted and fell over. It just died. And I've got 3 more. This one has also fallen over, and I don't know if that's normal or if they are just withering and dying because the soil is too compacted. I don't know what to do, so I might start some different ones with a better seed starting mix. I have never been able to get mouse melons to grow. I have tried 3 different times and they always die. Someone tell me what I'm doing wrong. I bought a bunch of soil so that I can fill the garden beds, but I'm still just waiting at this point. So I have like half a gallon of white paint left over from when I painted the office, and one of the things that I was reading online is that if you have a fenced-in area, painting it white can be very helpful for growing plants because it reflects the light off of the fence. Also, it's just good for protecting the wood. But I was worried that I was going to have to sand the entire fence. But luckily, we got a power washer for Christmas, and apparently you can use a power wash to clean and essentially sand the wood. You just have to let it dry out afterwards. There's a couple different areas I can start with just to use the leftover paint, but I have to wait until I'm pretty sure that there's not going to be any rain, because there's no point in cleaning up the wood and waiting for it to dry if it's just gonna get wet again. And then I have to wait for it to dry even longer. And then there's the potential it can get dirty again. So I need to wait until the weather is clear and warm so that I can pressure wash all of the wood, or at least the wood that I want to paint, and then let it dry. Also, do you remember how I was like, pothos are indestructible, and I stole a leaf from our dentist office because they had a really pretty but neglected variegated pothos? I nurtured it until it got a root, and then I put it in a pot, and it's finally growing a second leaf. I'm very excited. Pothos are like my favorite houseplant. I'm mildly worried that it's gonna lose its variegation, because that is a thing that can happen, but even if it does, I'll just have a nice pothos plant. But yeah, it's really exciting. I've been waiting for a very long time for it to grow its second leaf. She figured it out. She's a fighter. She's indestructible, my Pothos. I love her. Okay, I want to show you my plant calendar really quick. Okay, so here is my plant calendar. So this is the one that tells me when everything should be planted. I made the mistake of thinking that my last frost was in February, but it's actually in March, which I'm very sad about, and I'm still gonna plant things probably towards the end of February instead of March, but I don't know. I'll pay attention to the forecast and I'll see how it goes. And then here you can see I've been paying attention to whenever I start a seedling, I just write it here. So like I started the bell peppers on the 13th of January, the okra and the second stage of sage I planted on the 16th. Move loofahs, that's when I transplanted all of the loofah gourds. I think it's the 25th today. I haven't finished circling all of the days. But yeah, it's very useful for keeping track of how long things have been in the ground. So like the bell peppers have really only been in the ground for a little over a week, going on 2 weeks, which is not bad considering that a couple of them are finally starting to come up. It's very useful for figuring out how long I've been waiting for things to germinate, because in my brain, the bell peppers have been sitting there for like a month, but it's really only been like 2 weeks. Time is very difficult to keep track of, especially when you work from home with an incredibly flexible schedule, so the weekend doesn't mean anything. But that's all I wanted to show you. It's relatively straightforward. Also, in this corner, I have set up a little witchy altar kind of thing, mostly for like lighting incense and candles and stuff. It's just one of those things that helps you feel like you're a little bit more in control of the universe, even though we have no control at all. But that's all I have for you today. I just wanted to show you a little bit of what's going on, a little bit of a seed starting update, and hopefully I will see you around. So have a great day. Goodbye.